So I've never done lives before, but today's the day finally the Subaru's getting dynoed after probably 8 months of nonstop just breaking down, parts breaking off, that just old stuff that the Subaru's been. It's a 150,000 mile car, so it's got a lot of stuff on it that needed to be done anyway. Well, I guess kind of some of you guys know what was going on with it. The last shop I was at is, didn't really want to start bringing names into this stuff, but it was Despain Auto, and they're out of Salt Lake City. And from my understanding is that they're gone now because they are completely bullshit when it comes to what they do. Robbing people, taking parts off of people's cars, doing things that basically just really shady stuff that shouldn't be going on. Like, for example, my car, I had probably $3,000 worth of parts that I paid for out of my own pocket, all aftermarket, stainless exhaust, different intakes, like everything that I wanted on my car to make this a one and done deal. And then you could expect probably $2,000 worth of labor, generally with what, if people are good with what they're doing with the Subaru. And it turned into a nightmare. It went from having a one-day deal of having all these things put on to my car was gone for a week, Ubering back and forth to work at $40 a trip, cost me about $80 a day. So basically half my day's worth of work is gone just from waiting for my car to get back. No answers. And then when I finally got the car back and I took it to the other shop to have it dynoed, the car made nothing for power, and we couldn't figure out why. I didn't understand why until I finally got under the hood with a different shop. The shop being Ignition Logic. Owner's Alex, his girlfriend Lexi, and his cousin Anthony. These guys are completely the exact opposite of what I dealt with before. Like, these people are all about Subarus, all about tuning, and the way Alex does things is he has his recommendations for what you should do with your vehicle because he's done this to very many cars. And believe it or not, he actually used to work for that other company and he left, and a lot of the guys that I've met through this company at Ignition Logic left Despain because of the shady stuff going on. And we finally got into my car, got under the hood, and we realized my exhaust that I paid for already wasn't on my car. The up pipe wasn't on my car, the correct one. The down pipe on my car was somebody else's. And just a whole big list of things. Like my Cobb airbox that I spent good money on was gone. It was in my passenger seat on the floor. Just everything that you could possibly imagine that should have been done on the car was not done. And that led to another 2 months worth of just me being at Ignition Logic, but knowing that these guys say, hey, it's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to get this done. This is our cost. This is what you need. This is what we recommend. Do it. Okay, here's my money. Take it. Do what we need to do. Fix the car. I had valve covers leaking. I had 2 blown CV axles. Ball joints were bad. Tie rod ends were bad. And the other shop sent this car on a dyno with bad CV axles, all this bad suspension stuff. Every video you ever see of a car coming off of a dyno or something bad happening on a dyno is generally suspension related. Because when these parts give up and you're running 7,000 RPM, pushing 300 or 400 horsepower, stuff doesn't want to do that. So when it comes to a dead stop, something's got to give. And the chances are it's going to be your straps, and your car is coming off the dyno and you're doing damage to everything around you. And the other shop, after giving a pre-tune inspection that I paid for, sent it that way with broken parts. So it could have been me ending up having an insurance claim totaling out my entire car and having to start over after already spending $5,000 at the other place. Now, after another $5,000 or so dollars, plus the dyno today, the car should be fine. It should be what it was supposed to be when the first shop decided to destroy everything on it. So, I'm about an hour early for my appointment, but that's just how I am. That's kind of another thing I wanted to talk about. Most shops, when it comes to doing aftermarket stuff or performance parts, the guy in charge who's running the shop, let's just use Alex as an example because he's been pretty much on point for everything that anything that I look for in somebody that's building a car for me. He's exactly what I expect out of somebody. He's punctual. He gives you what his expectations are. He gives you all of his suggestions as to what to buy parts-wise. And after that, it's basically, okay, can we make it work? What's the time frame? Let's work with this. Let's do this. Most people our age, for some reason, don't have any integrity or any they have no idea what staying on time is or being on time or punctual. And it happens a lot with shops, and most people don't realize that the guys that work in shops get paid per vehicle that they work on. So the more stuff they can knock out in a day, the more money these guys make. Otherwise, if a car doesn't show up, they make nothing. Or they go home empty-handed and they're frustrated. So if you don't show up and then you call 2 hours later and say, oh, well, my alarm this or whatever that, it doesn't, you can't do that with your doctor. Your doctor's just going to say, okay, well, we're going to reschedule because we've already got other stuff in the lineup and you're done. You already missed your chance. So that's what goes on with these guys. And if you're not gonna be on time for something like this, then you must not be taking it very seriously. The other thing is people don't understand how much this stuff actually costs to start modifying vehicles past what their normal off the showroom floor is. Just in exhaust parts alone, there's almost $3,000 worth of exhaust on the car, if you count the turbo and everything else, intake manifolds, and then everything else that goes into it, intercoolers, piping. It's not just here's a couple grand and it's done. You might have $8,000-$9,000 worth of parts, and then at $100 an hour shop rate, however many hours it takes for these guys to get it done, and they give you a quote, and that's what you go off of. If you don't have the way to, or the means to do it, I honestly almost didn't have the means to make this car run after the other shop destroyed it, because there's no way to go after them for your money, because you signed papers basically saying they can do whatever they want. And they did whatever they want. They put everybody else's stuff on my car and we couldn't figure it out. So basically a big thing that I'm trying to say is, if you're going to end up doing this stuff, make sure that you have the means to do it, and make sure that you're going to keep your word when you tell a shop that you're going to be there. And it's really hard for shops to want to take on more jobs or help smaller people on smaller budgets when you have younger guys coming in that don't want to pay for stuff, don't want to take what's recommended. Because Alex will tell you straight up, if your car is going to blow up or it won't handle it, he won't touch it. No shops want to have their name out there saying, oh, well, so-and-so's car blew up on the dyno, so this guy must not know what he's doing. Well, the full story is so-and-so didn't understand that his car isn't going to handle putting 25 pounds of boost on a car that's already got 80,000 miles on it. Mine's got 150,000 miles on it. We ran all the boost leak down tests, we ran compression tests, we ran leak down tests. This car is as healthy as it's ever going to be. It's basically like showroom floor quality engine. And that's what we work with. So if Alex says your car can do this up to 400 horsepower and be reliable with what you've got, we're going to shoot. I don't need a fast car. This is my daily car. This is what earns the money. So we have to build it reliably and just take care of it. And most people won't even maintain the stuff once it's done. There's a lot more that goes into it than just, put some gas in it and drive it. There's different oils. You got to make sure that everything that you're running in the car is going to be top quality, because you just put thousands of dollars worth of parts into a car. Why would you want to run cheap oil or cheap fluids anywhere? It just doesn't make sense. So hopefully today, this is the last that we'll have to deal with this car for a while, because a lot of you guys also know from everything else, I have my Jeep is on its way. My buddy Josh decided that he wanted to bring my Jeep and the rest of my stuff out from Michigan. So the Jeep, if anybody's been following what's been going on with that, we're planning on making that into a 1,200 horsepower monster street Jeep. And this car here, people say, well, what about this and that? Well, no, it's just, this is what goes back and forth to work. It gets good gas mileage. It's a reliable car. I can get in and out of it easily because it's low to the ground. Obviously, I have the wheelchair now. So all the money, I've basically spent double what it should have cost to fix this car. And that money could have gone towards literally anything else. And it's fine. It is what it is. But, it's more, now this car is an investment. Because however much it costs out of pocket, the car's paid for, plus the $10,000 that we've put into it. Unfortunately, $10,000 we've put into it only to make 300 horsepower, 300 or so, just because we want reliability. We're not trying to, impress anybody with this thing. And basically today, after this, if the car still doesn't want to make power, or we're still having issues with it running lean like we were having with the other shop, the only thing left to change would be going to bigger size injectors and a bigger intercooler, because the turbo I've got should support about 360 horsepower. But, like I said, the other shop, who knows what's really going on with what's in the car. But from everything we have going on, Ignition Logic has completely 180'd this car. 99% of the stuff that the other shop has touched has been removed from the car and replaced with the stuff that I've actually paid for. And the other part about Ignition is I was actually allowed to sit in, talk with Anthony, work alongside Anthony, and basically watch my car being done from start to finish. And it's just, that's the kind of stuff that I like. I don't want to be shut out from something that I have a big investment in. So, let's see, they open at 10 our time. I don't know what time it is for most of you guys. I know some of you guys are back east. It's already, going on 11 o'clock or going on noon. So I'm going to basically get in once they're here. We'll run through the car one more time just to make sure everything's solid. And then Alex is going to pull it on the dyno and just start making pulls and making sure that everything is correct. And then we're going to go from there. So I'll post videos. I'll keep it updated. As soon as we get it on the dyno, I might put it on live again just to show you guys what's going on for some of you that haven't really seen dynos before. Because it's a really sweet thing to watch. There's a lot of things going on, and it's pretty cool to watch. So I'll keep everybody posted. And that's basically it. I'll check in with you guys in a little while. See ya.